Welcome to the Empowered Working Mom Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Jocelyn Young. Our mission here is to amplify the stories of all moms so that they can be seen, heard, and supported in their motherhood journey, regardless of whether they're balancing motherhood with an external career or choosing to dedicate themselves fully to motherhood. We believe here that everyone has a unique story, and we found that storytelling is an impactful way to connect and learn from one another. Because sharing and listening to each other's stories makes us feel connected, supported, and inspired. We're excited to bring you diverse stories from fellow working moms like you. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and listen in to today's story to feel acknowledged, encouraged, and most importantly, that you're not alone in your experience as a working mom. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and I'm so excited to share today's conversation with you. I absolutely love it when my closest and dearest friends come onto the podcast to share their story with me and you, the listener. And these friends are some of the most amazing human beings who I have gotten to live life with for over a decade. I love spending time with, and whom I've cried, vented, and laughed together as we're walking alongside each other through motherhood and life. And today's guest is my dear friend, Marivic, a dedicated educator entering her 25th year as a third grade teacher and a proud mama to two amazing young women. Now, what really stuck out to me during conversation was Marvic's radical honesty about the reality of working motherhood, like how she couldn't give 100% to both teaching and parenting. And you know what? She found peace with that. So here's what I know you'll walk away with. Permission to release perfectionist expectations, the power of authentic communication with your kids, even when you're all up in your own feelings and emotions. And lastly, practical wisdom for building those soul-giving relationships with your kids that will last into adulthood. And Marvic's approach to living authentically while continuously evolving into her best self, isn't that what we're all wanting for ourselves? Kind of like Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunter. You're going to love this conversation. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in. All right. Hey, y'all. I am super excited for this episode on the Empower Working Moms Revolution podcast. As you know, we have been sharing stories and we are calling it Mom Moments. And I love it when I have my friends on the show. So everyone, welcome Marivic Walch to the show. Welcome, Marivic.
Hello, Jocelyn. How are you?
I am so doing well. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this. So now I just want to give a background. Marivic and I go way back. As you know or might not know, right? My previous profession was in education. And I remember meeting Marivic, I think it was at a district math leadership meeting.
Yep.
We were on a district math leadership meeting. And those of you who have met recently, I've been saying, like, I'm not a math gal, but somehow I was on a math leadership meeting. And that's the first time I met Marivic. And I was not a mom yet, but I remember her girls were really young. And I just remember that's how we connected, and hearing her stories of her journey of being a mom and raising her girls has really been an inspiration. We've been friends for so long and we share stories. And now I have my girls and literally I'm like, Marivic, what do I do here? Or like, she always drops wisdoms in our conversations when we hang out. And I really wanted to just have her here and share her story and her words of wisdom with all of y'all. So Marivic, would you like to just introduce yourself in terms of like how old, how many kids you have, how old are your girls, and like what you do in your profession? Because you're a working mama and have been a working mama the whole entire time, right?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Marivic, and I've got two wonderful humans who I call my daughters. Annika is 20 and she is a junior in college. And Sophia is 18, a freshman in college, living at home. So I'm trying to figure out how to live with my adult child because Annika does not live at home. She's in Southern California for
Hmm.
college. And like you said, we met in education. I'm a teacher, currently a third grade teacher. I've taught fourth and fifth grade, and this is my 24th year in the classroom.
Holy cow,
I
24.
know. I know. I can't even believe it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, like the question I have here for you, because I know there are some listeners who are teachers here on the podcast, and being a teacher, but also being a mom, like how did you, I want to use the word balance, but I'm going to use blend. Like, how did you do that? Because you're like teaching kids all day, but then you also go home to your own kids. Like, how did you do that?
Well, okay. So when I started teaching, I didn't have my kids yet. So, of course, being new in the profession, I wanted to make a difference, and everything was, about my students in the classroom and school. And I gave and I gave and I gave to my profession. And then when Annika was born, of course, my baby is my priority. She's my life. So in my head, I had to make the shift from trying to be super teacher to being an awesome mom, like be the best mom that I could be. And that was really hard because anything I do, I give it 100%. So I gave my profession 100%. And now, I've got this human that I was responsible for is like, well, shoot, I can't give 100% to both. So how do I do this? You know, Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. Me personally, knowing my personality, I knew I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom and that be it, because a big part of my identity is my professional side. I love teaching, I love working with kids, so I wasn't ready to give that up.
Yeah.
And Annika, so at a very early age, at 4 months, I had to put her in daycare so that I could do both. Um, it was heartbreaking, like the first, month, dropping her off as an infant and driving away in tears, like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I'm leaving my baby. Um, but like I said, there's a part of me that um, I, I'm a teacher at heart. And so when I was at school, it helped that I knew that Annika was somewhere where she's being loved and well taken care of. So I knew, okay, while I was at school doing my thing, I knew that she would be okay. And I made sure every day at the same time, go pick her up. And then once she and I got home, it was nothing school related at home. Whereas before, you know, teachers are notorious for working at home. You could work 24/7, all your work is still not done. But I made the decision like, okay, I'm going to give time to my family and take care of that. So I backed off of school. I mean, I still tried to do the best that I could, but I couldn't be the super teacher that I was before. That makes sense. Um, I made sure, like, summer school, I never taught summer school. Like, once Annika was born and then Sophia came 2.5 years later, I never taught summer school. So they never went to, summer camp. They didn't do any of that. Summers were for us to bond, for us to just
Mm.
be together. You know, there was not a lot of money. I'm a teacher, so we would walk around the mall, that push them in their stroller and go to the park and just be together. We'd play together a lot. My husband's work schedule, he worked on weekends, he worked evenings. So I had a lot of time with my girls.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
I love, I actually really appreciate how you just shared, like, back then as a new mom, right? Like, I think that a lot of moms who are listening to this podcast, one are, do find a lot of their identity in their work, and they love to work.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
know there's some moms that are stay-at-home moms too, and that's what they choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, majority of our listeners are ones that like we chose to work because we do find joy and
Mm-hmm.
fulfillment in that. And also we we enjoy being a mom too. But like just the fact that you shared like the 100% and the 100%, like you couldn't give 100% to both, but you found and to be okay with that. Like, and then you found a way to like really like, I'm going to be really present when I'm in the classroom. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be really present at home as much as it like, I want to do some more schoolwork at home, but like, I think that for any profession, it's like, oh, if I could just get ahead, if I do more when I'm at home with the kids. But that's like it sounded like you really had to make that decision. Like, that's a boundary for you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and over the years, I mean, it's been a battle. I mean, especially like for me, my
Mm-hmm.
mental health back and forth, like, okay, I'm not doing enough at school. I'm not doing enough with the girls. Like, are the girls
Mm-hmm.
okay? Is it? And then it came a point, and I couldn't even tell you where the point was, where it's like, wait a minute, I need to make sure I'm okay so that I can take care of the girls and I can be okay at school. And I don't know. As you know, Jocelyn, I'm a very social person and I thrive on being around people and getting people together and, bringing joy. And, I loved that my girls could see me in that capacity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even now at this point in their lives, I love the relationship that my girls and I have. Um, they call me mother. I'm mother, and they know, mother's gonna hold boundaries, but also they know, well, mother's a human too. Like mother has friends. She's gonna go hang out with her friends, or, she's gonna go get her nails done because it makes her happy.
Hey,
But
that's a fun time getting you sitting there and being pampered and you don't do anything else.
but even like as they were growing up, we did stuff like that together.
Mhm.
We would go grocery shopping together. So I worked my girls into the errands that we had to do, like cooking dinner. It was like, hey girls, what do you want for dinner? I remember there was this one time we were watching TV and this Olive Garden commercial came up, and there was like this lemon piccata chicken or something. I think Annika must have been 7 and Sophia was 5 or something. And they looked at the TV like, Mama, back then it was Mama, that looks good. Can we make that? And so I was like, sure, let's find a recipe. So we went online together, found a recipe, went to the grocery store, they went shopping, and we prepped and cooked and did everything together. So, like, okay, we had a meal, and it was something, building that relationship with my kids.
I love it because you're like combining two things. I call it bundling. Like you're doing two activities together in terms of like you're spending time with them, like quality time, but then you're also like getting dinner on the table or like, doing an errand together. So one of the things I know this about you, but I want you to share, like you mentioned you love the relationship that you have with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like how how did you get to this point in building that relationship with your kids? Because I mean your kid you have adult children now, right? And I'm like and I know
Yes.
and there's moms on the moms who listen to this podcast with all different ages. So I
Mhm.
love hearing stories from moms with kids of like grown kids because then it gives hope for moms like myself, right? Like and also like intentionality of like, what is it that I can learn here, right? So like
Yeah.
how like what did you what did you do to create that type of relationship where I know your girls love their relationship with you as well? And so
Mhm.
it's like, both
Mhm.
ways. So I'm just so curious if you could share.
Sure. Well, okay. So if I go all the way back to even before, Annika was born, Dan, my husband, and I, we're not rich people. We don't have a lot of money. And we always said when we raise our family, we want our kids to have that warm feeling in their tummy. And that's how we described it. Like we want them to have that warm feeling. So that meant, we had a lot of family time and we would do things together, even if it was, like I said, walking to the park or on the weekends, the girls, I remember we have a queen bed and Sophia would have like her stuffed animals out to here. And in the weekend, both girls would come to our bed and climb into our bed and we would just cuddle and, talk and play with their stuffed animals. And they knew that our bed was always open to them if they wanted that. You know, our relationship. I'm very intentional in even when they were kids, very intentional in how I communicated with them and how we would spend time. And I want to give credit where credit's due. I have an amazing husband who's an amazing father. And our work schedules were such that he would work like late nights, late nights and weekends, but he wouldn't have to go into work till later. So he dealt with all the morning stuff, the drop off, making sure the girls had lunches, all the way till they were like in middle school. So he would do all that. Before the girls were in elementary school, when they were in daycare, the daycare was near my school. So I would drop them off in the morning and then I would pick them up. But then once they were school age, he would do all the morning. And then I would do all the afternoon. So I would do the pickup, I'd do the dinner, I would do all the extracurricular. And they were really active. We had like something every day. But like I said, it was very intentional in how I would talk to them. And I think that stems from how I grew up because I'm first generation Filipino American. My families were the very first ones to immigrate from the Philippines from, I'll call them our clan. Like I've got a huge extended family, but my parents were the first ones to come in the early 70s, 1970s. They had no one to guide them here on how to raise a family. So I grew up in a home that was, it was really strict. I couldn't go to the mall with my friends. I wasn't allowed to date. Honestly, I don't think my dad said, I love you to me until I was an adult, And so I knew when I had a family, that's not what I had pictured. Like we were going to be all up in each other's business and, it's just, yeah, I just remember, even now, Sophia, when I don't see her all day because she's at school and at work and I'm here and, she's 18, hangs out in her room, does her work. And every so often I'll just go in there and walk up to her and I'll just give her a big hug and she'll hug me back and I give her smooches all over her cheek. I'll say, hey, baby, how you doing? And then we'll just quick chat and then I walk out. I think I just really, you're asking, I'm sorry, I'm talking in circles, but you're asking
I love the stories. I love the story.
You're asking how I built that relationship. I just always, they always knew. I always told them no matter what, you can always come to mama, and I've told the girls, I mean, there have been times when I've been pissed off, like, oh my God, I've told the girls, like, I am so angry at you right now. I don't like you right now, but I love you. I'll always love you. But, I just don't like you at this moment. So, and I don't know. I think people, if you ask my family, they'd be like, what? My sisters be like, what is she talking? But I don't know. I've always been honest with my girls. I've always been honest. And, they haven't always been completely honest with me at the get-go, but eventually, like Sophie and I had a big conversation one day, and she just like let stuff out. I was like, okay, what else? And she's like, I'm like, okay, what else? And then finally she's like, that's it, mama. No more lies. That's it. I told you everything.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think it's because we spent so much time together when they were growing up.
And honestly, like the two things that stuck out to me was, one, intentionality. Like you were really intentional. Like as a child of immigrant parents, I'm like, yeah, like the way I'm parenting now is totally different. I'm choosing to be so different than my parents, right? Like I knew like that's not what I want for my own family. Like that's intentionality, but also your honesty, like really honest. Like when you said like you share with your kids, like I'm angry, like right, I'm angry right now. I don't like you, but I still love you. Like that's just showing a side, like that's building relationship. It's like building trust too. And so I can see how that really kind of, fostered and strengthened the relationship between you and the kids and the girls, right? And them watching you do that, like, as a teacher, like you can tell the students and your kids all day long, but it won't sink in until they watch you do it.
Right. Well, and then I've told them too, when we're not, getting along, I said, I know you're not happy with me. I know you don't like what I'm saying. And that's okay. It's okay for you to be mad at me. I'll still love you.
Yeah.
You still have a soft place to land. That's fine.
Yeah. What would you say has been the most challenging thing you've been through that you're open to sharing as a mom, either personally or professionally?
Wait, ask me one more time again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all, were recording at the end of a school day, so we're just calling that out. So what is the most challenging thing that you have been through as a working mama?
I think feeling inadequate, because like I said in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Can't give 100% to my profession and 100% to being a mom.
Yeah.
And for me, honestly, being a mom is way more important than being a teacher, even though being a teacher is very important to me. Here it's interesting because I was a teacher before I became a parent, and the way I interacted with the parents of my students were a certain way before kids and after kids,
Oh,
right?
so true. Yep.
And also, and not just before kids and after kids, but before school age and after school age, or once they're in school. Because I remember, I used to be that teacher that would give like packets over the breaks, and you got to keep your learning up, and we don't want to slide, and keep your brain. And then it was when I think Annika was in kindergarten, and over winter break she had to do like these 3 big projects at home over the 2 weeks that hamstrung us. We had to stay home to research and do all this stuff. And I was so pissed. I was like, what? This is my time with my girls, and we can't even and after that, I never gave out homework over the break, and that was what, she's 20 and 5, so 15 years. I have not given homework over the break for 15 years because I was so angry. So I think just trying to balance the professional, like being a mom, like I know what I want as a mom with my kids, but then that other side being the teacher, like, but then this is what we need, and this is what we'd like to see. So
we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Marivic is going to share exactly how she worked through those feelings of inadequacy that so many of us working moms experience. So you're not going to want to miss it. Hey there, mamas. Let's talk about that 4 p.m. panic moment we all know too well. You know, when you realize you have no idea what's for dinner tonight, let alone the rest of the week. I've totally been there, standing in the Trader Joe aisle, trying to piece together meals while juggling work calls and school pickup times. And that's why I'm excited to share Plan to Eat with you, the meal planning service that has honestly been a super game changer for me and my family. I've been using it for years. Plan to Eat lets you organize your recipes, automatically generates shopping lists, and helps you plan your meals for the week in just minutes. No more last minute takeout guilt or scrambling through Pinterest at 5 p.m. What I love most is how it gives me back control over my time and our family to be able to eat healthily. I can plan our meals during my Sunday coffee moments, and the rest of the week just flows smoothly. Right now, my listeners can get 20% off their first year subscription. Just head to plantoeat.com/REF/empowered mom. That's plantoeat.com/REF/empowered mom. Trust me, your future self will thank you when you're not stressing about dinner every single night. Now, back to our conversation.
I mean, how have you worked through that feeling of inadequacy? Because I know, like, man, when I had my kids and I was still teaching, like, that feeling of inadequacy, like, like it was real. Like, the struggle was real.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, now your kids are grown adults, not and mothering and parenthood is a little bit different, but like, how have you over the years found your way to work through those feelings of inadequacy?
Honestly, I think it goes back to communication.
Mm,
So with my girls, and I still say this today, and I think I say this more now as they were getting older versus when they were younger, because they wouldn't get it when they were younger. But
yeah,
the message is, I've never raised an Annika before. I've never raised a Sophia before. I'm going to mess up. Like, I
yeah,
don't know how to do this. I'm going to try and do my best, but I know I'm going to make mistakes. So please have grace. Please cut me some
um,
slack. Right. And then in the classroom, when I taught the older kids, like fifth grade, they would get it more than my little third grade babies. But it'd be like, okay, I'm trying my best. That I've got Annika and Sophia. I'm like, my students always know about Annika and Sophia. I'm like,
yeah,
I've got Annika and Sophia. I'm a mommy too. So I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm going to be the best teacher that I can be for you. But I am going to mess up. There are going to be some days when it doesn't go perfectly the way I want it to be. But can you please give me some grace, cut me some slack, because I'm going to do the same for you. Like, we can't be 100% all the time. So
um,
I'm a big proponent of, like, I've learned over the years
communicating.
how have those hard conversations, and just
Yeah,
communicate.
yeah, man, communication's hard sometimes. Like, coming
Yeah.
from the person who sometimes falls into the passive aggressive tendency. So, like, I love how you share that it's communication, like your feelings and how how you're perceiving and engaging with the person in front of you, or your students or your kids, and just being really like real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're like the third person this week who has shared, and I'm like seeing the threads here, because these people have shared this similar, what you said, like, I've never parented you at this age before. I've never parented, like, this is my first rodeo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming from parents and moms who have grown adult children now.
Mm.
So it's so interesting that I love hearing that, because I would have not, I think, as a mom of tweens, like, would have not ever thought that way, or even like communicated that to my kids. Like, I don't think I've ever communicated that to my kids. I think I've communicated for
Mm-hmm.
like I've never been a mom before, but the fact that you communicate it to them exactly, right?
Hmm.
I've never parented you at this age right now. Like, just give me some grace. Like, it's
Yeah.
powerful. It's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, um, something like as a mom, or even in your journey as a mom, that you've had to like had to take a leap of faith, like whether it's a decision or an action?
Oh my gosh. A leap of faith. Um, you know, I've always, even before the girls were born, but especially, once they came into our lives, I've always thought that things would work out the way they're supposed to.
Mm,
So I can't, I can't like really pinpoint one instance
yeah.
where it was like this leap of faith, but I think like, living here in Silicon Valley in the Bay Area is, unless you're in tech or something, it's cost prohibitive, right? So
Hmm.
even me at my age, I'm a grown woman, a family. I don't own a home. I'm still renting. And so as the girls were growing up, my husband and I had come across like different situations with employment or situations with, things that were happening with the girls at school or, things that were going on in life. And, I could hide under a rock and just like, and I stressed. I mean, God knows
Hmm.
I stressed through those times, but
Yeah.
there was something that I was always like, you know what? I know we're going to be okay. And if there were any decisions that my husband and I had to make, you know, um, gosh, when the girls were even before school or Ani was in kindergarten, we had talked about leaving the Bay Area, maybe moving to Texas or Arizona. And, my husband and I talked about that. And I mean, he knew even when we were dating, he had asked me if I would ever leave California. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm never leaving California.
Yeah.
This is my home. Um, but when, we would have these conversations early on and he would ask me if I would move, I always told him, I said, I know that you would always do what's best for our family. So any decision you make, I know is for, the girl's best benefit and mine. So if you say we need to move, then we will move. I mean, obviously we didn't move, we're still
Yeah.
here, but that's how I guess that's how I walk through life, like doing the best I can, being as intentional as I can. But even if things don't go my way, like I'm just taking that leap, like
It will
we'll
work.
be okay. It's going to
It
be
will.
okay.
Yeah. That's huge faith. That's like huge. Like that's like practicing faith like literally every single day. Like that it will work out. Maybe it not might not work out the way you hoped or
Right.
right or right but you are literally like putting faith into every single moment of your life. Like, yeah. So I
Yeah.
love that. That is huge. Okay, that's a great nugget of wisdom there, Marvick. You like
Well, and I think I also I surround myself with people who bring me up, uplift me.
Mhm.
I know it may sound hokey, but I try to cut the negative out or I know it'll make its way in, but I try to be purposeful in surrounding myself in my personal life and my work life with people who make me better. So
Mm,
setting those boundaries also of like, okay, that's a bit much, I need to step away from it. I can't take that negativity, let's step away from that.
yeah.
um so I think that helps me to be like, things will work out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it's supportive. It's like energetic boundaries. Like how like who do you surround yourself with so that you can continually to evolve into your, best version of yourself over and over and over again, which
Hmm.
does strengthen your faith in like
Hmm.
things will work out, right? Like,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, that totally makes sense, right? And that's such a continual practice, very intentional. Like that just aligns with your theme of intentionality, right? So, as we are wrapping up here, if you could leave some lasting words of wisdom for our listeners, which are moms, what would you like to share with them?
Um, I know the journey is hard, and I remember when the girls were infants and toddlers, and things would go well, and then, they wouldn't sleep through the night or something would happen, and my husband would actually say to me, "Honey, you know, in another 2 weeks, it'll be fine. You know, hit something, it'll be fine in another couple of weeks, honey." So, I guess my words of wisdom would be look ahead, but not too far ahead. Enjoy the
Mhm.
time you have. And I know we hear it all the time. Oh, it goes so fast. Enjoy all the moments. But I think sorry. I think building honest relationships with your kids are very important. Um, oh, and make sure you take care of yourself. As if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, if you can't find joy in your own life, it's going to be really hard to bring joy to your family and to your
Mm,
kids.
yeah.
You need to find like-minded people. There's someone for everyone, and I'll admit I'm a little out there. I'm a little wacky. But
That's why we're
I think
friends, Marvic.
I know. I was gonna say, I think that's something that my girls have learned is, and Jocelyn, you and I have talked about this over the years, authenticity. Like
Mhm.
you need to be your authentic self. Don't I I used to try to fit into, what I thought was expected of me, but I wasn't truly happy when I became my authentic self. And then that's when I started to find more joy in my life. And so the way my girls know me, this is me. This is crazy, crazy mama. I mean, that's what they call me, mother, for goodness sake. Like, and it's not like, stuffy mother. It's like mother. Yeah. I guess my nugget. I'm talking in circles again. I guess my nugget is, be your authentic self and make sure you're taking care of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure you,
Enjoy the moment.
yeah,
Like look ahead, but not too far ahead. Yeah. I
yeah,
love it. Yeah. Love it.
yeah.
Okay. So, one thing before we play our mom moments in a minute game here is if people want to, connect with you because they're like, we love your vibe. I want to be friends. Like, where do you hang out on social media?
Oh, where do I hang out on social media? I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I scroll TikTok. I don't post anything on TikTok, but I like to scroll.
Love it. I love it. So if people want to connect and make a new friend with Marvic, like I'll share your links. You just share that with me later. It's
Okay.
yeah. And then ready for the game. It's called
Oh
Mom Moments
gosh.
in a minute. So there's only 3 questions and we're gonna do rapid fire. Okay. So
Okay.
first question, is a choice question. So multiple choice questions. So to have a moment of peace and quiet to yourself, which place would you choose out of these choices? The bathroom, the car, the bedroom, or the closet?
I actually sit in the car. Like even when I get home from school, I don't walk upstairs right away. I'll actually turn off the engine and read a chapter or two in my Kindle, or I'll scroll, and then I'll go upstairs.
Love it. Love it. The car is a really good quiet place. Number 2 is an open answer here. Favorite thing to do with your girls?
Oh, there's so many things. I think when they were younger, so it depends on age, right? So when they were younger, one thing we used to go window shopping a lot. Yeah, I talked about killing time, and I remember Annika one weekend saying, Mama, can we go do that thing where we go to the store and try a bunch of stuff on and then don't buy anything? I was like, of course, because it didn't matter. I knew we weren't going to buy it, so they could try on whatever they want. So, like, when they were younger, I loved doing that. I think now, in this season of their life, it's rare when both girls and I get to be together since Annika is far away.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're together, we like to grab a meal. We grew up, the girls grew up, we would go to restaurants even when they were still in carriers. They grew up going out to dine. So I would always ask, okay, where do you want to go? And we would go and just over food, just sit and talk and, okay, what's going on? What's up?
Connection. Fully
Mhm,
aligned connection to what you shared earlier. Yeah.
mhm.
And then last question, out of these choices to relax, what would you choose? A spa, hike, nap, read, or craft? And I'm like, I can kind of think maybe you want to choose two, but
But yeah, for me, spa and reading.
I knew it.
Because I love to be pampered, and I don't
Yes.
I don't have the income where I can do it a lot. So like when I get to do it, I'm like, oh, I love it. And I do read voraciously.
Yes.
I am such a reader. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
those
was
are
like,
my happy places.
so I was like, I think I know what Marvic's going to choose.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know me. Like I said, we go back way
Yeah.
back.
Oh my gosh, it's been such a joy to have you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for just sharing your story and dropping, words of wisdom throughout our conversation today and just your time and energy. I know y'all were recording on a Friday afternoon after school. So if y'all are teachers and listening, you know what the teacher tired is right now. So I really appreciate it, Marvic. And it's October.
Oh,
Y'all.
I know, October. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
having me. I mean, I've never done anything like this before, and I'm really flattered that you thought of me. And I love talking to you. I
Oh,
just love talking to you. So
same here. Same here. Well, thanks for being on the show.
thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Alrighty, moms, I hope you enjoyed and feel empowered and seen from today's conversation. Our mission here on the podcast is to amplify the stories of all moms so that you can be seen, heard, and supported in your motherhood journey, regardless of whether you're balancing motherhood with an external career or choosing to dedicate yourself fully to motherhood. And we would appreciate your support because your support matters. And here are 3 ways to support the mission of the podcast. First, you can leave a rating on Apple Podcasts so more moms can discover this podcast. You can select a star rating by scrolling down on the Empowered Working Mom Revolution show page in the Apple Podcasts app. 2, you can write a review on Apple Podcasts so more moms can find a place of solace, comfort, and belonging through this podcast. You can do this by scrolling down on the Empowered Working Mom Revolution show page in the Apple Podcasts app and tap Write a Review. And lastly, make a one-time donation to the podcast for as little as $7 or whatever amount feels best for you. You can click the link in the show notes to make a donation. We appreciate your support, and thanks again for listening in and joining me here on the podcast. I look forward to sharing with you another inspiring mom moment story next week. So until next Wednesday, moms, have a great day.